Hey guys, welcome back to Nasha's Pop Shop. I'm Tiger and I'm helping your hobby pay for itself. And today we're going to go over basically 10 Pokemon cards that are worth picking up and grading too as well. So, also happy Pitch Black release day. Today, Pitch Black release. There's not a lot of cards that I'm really interested in, to be super honest with you. I know everybody's talking about the Dark Ride, and it's nice, but it's not something that I'm like super crazy about. I think um, it does look good, especially if you look at it next to the gold cards from Crown It. I can see that it just like it makes sense. It matches in a way, but they're also different colors. The other one's gold, so I don't know. I picked this up because I was able to pre-order it a long time ago, and I just never canceled it. But to be honest with you, I mean these ones are going for like $200, even 180s, which is pretty much retail price. So like if you want to invest in a booster box and you don't want to pay market price, technically this is what's available right now. I know Perfect Order is another one. Chaos Rising is close to MSRP as well. Like basically any booster box that you can find for $200 is technically not a bad idea, but I've been thinking about how to best use your funds lately. And like for example, this one, if I'm really being honest with you, I'm like those was it 175 MSRP that I spent on this is probably better spent on some of the cards that I'm about to show you right now, and grading those because this set doesn't have a lot of cards that are super crazy. Basically, the Dark Ride, there's a Slow Bro, I think. Illustration rate, if I'm not mistaken. There's a Goldeen. I like those cards. Actually, I do like that Goldeen, but it's probably gonna be a cheap card too. It has to be like $20 or something. So that's one that actually probably will pick up and grade. The Slow Bro as well. The Dark Ride, it depends on the price probably. But I feel like the booster box is not something that you're gonna spend $200 right now, and in 3 months you're gonna make your money back or like more, you know. So it's like for me, it's like you're gonna keep money sitting here for the next 2 years because this is gonna be printed for the next 2 years. So you have to keep that in mind. Um, it's really worth it spending money on some of these sets when you can use it to like buy cards, create them, and then double your money or sometimes triple your money. But most of the times you double your money. But I mean, it's still a nice set. It's not the worst, but it's not something that I'm like crazy about. So let's actually talk about the 10 cards to buy right now that I basically went through all the sets and just look at the cards that I like. So some of these are also things that I like. That's what I like to do. I like to pick up cards that I like to grade, not just something that is like gradable. It's just like this one. Oh, this one's one of my favorite cards. I look even looking for a copy to grade for one of these. But I haven't been looking enough. I picked up one of these a long time ago, probably like months, when it was like around 60. But I did sell it because it wasn't as clean. When I got home, I noticed that it had a little white corner, so I wasn't going to send that. But this is a beautiful card. Twilight Masquerade. It's also a set that I'm pretty sure it's out of print if I'm not mistaken because it's not. I haven't seen it in any packs or things that have been dropping lately. So I'm pretty sure this one is out of print. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I believe that has to be the case. I didn't know they posted also like here, but I should probably start looking for one of these because this card, it's $80 raw. It's such a cute card. It's a beautiful card, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 EVs. It is a beautiful card. I love that the EVs playing with this other Pokemon. I can't remember its name, but it's just so cute. This one is just like a beautiful card. If you love Eevee, which almost everybody does, let's be honest, because of the evolutions. This is kind of like for me, Pikachu. Obviously, Pikachu is kind of like the main face of the Pokemon franchise, but I feel like for newer people, everybody comes into the franchise because of Eevee too. I know girls like Eevee a lot because it's super cute. I mean, I do love Eevee and the evolutions. I do have a Umbreon um, Terrestrial Festival back there. You probably cannot see it because of the lighting, but um, yeah, that's one card I picked up earlier in the year, really early, for $400 in a PSA 10, the Sunburn, but the Japanese version, and now it's going for like 700. I think it went down a little bit because it was going for 800 at some point, but that was another card too that I knew I had to purchase because the price was just really good. It was a PSA 10 for $400, and the raw copy was pretty much going for like 380 or something like that at the time. And it's a lot easier to grade Japanese copies, so that's probably why. But it was just a great time to buy. So this card, $80 raw, from a set that is no longer in print, and it's an illustration rare, so it's gonna be probably harder than other cards to grade, but still. So if you see $30, and then the PSA 10 is going for 360. Right now with PSA, you can pay, I believe it's like 2 months and a week, maybe 2 months and a half for the $80 price. So like technically you pay 80 for the grade and you're gonna spend around 160, like let's call it 170 for shipping and everything with PSA. So 170 and you're getting 360 of value. And I also think by that point, in 2 months and a half, we're also gonna have the 30th coming out, Mega Request a set. So there's gonna be a lot of things going on, and I can also see this card just going up. And what I like about this Arizona TCG page is that you can look at the dates and what the prices were selling at. So like this one right now, technically, it's at not at its highest point, but it was selling for 386. Now it's 360, so it's only $20 off. So it's been maintaining. I mean, here was probably a good time to buy at 200, which makes sense. I mean, but I think also we were not thinking that PSA was gonna shut down value grading. So I feel like this is also part of that run up, because now if you send this card, you're paying at least $80, but it's still worth it for the value of the PSA 10. So let's take a look at the second card. The second card is this Eevee promo from the UPC. The UPCs are going for like around 280, 300 right now. And there's one more drop, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere. I just can't recall what retailer is dropping it. But this card is going for like, I believe raw is going for like $40 now. I bought a copy for $30 a few weeks ago. I'm trying to see if I see one here. See, actually even one sold for 20. Maybe it's not like super clean, but so you can find copies within the pretty much $20 to $40 range. And this is what the PSA 10s are selling at: 385, 439. See, that one was June 24. So here's another one from like a week ago or two. Yeah, I mean this is a different card, but like it's selling for over $300. So like this one's one that like technically you don't have to send right now, but it is a good time to accumulate. So if you want to buy like 5 copies of it, I mean you're probably gonna be happier to buy 5 copies right now at like $40, because I'm thinking that once Prismatic also is done printing, and how many more UPCs can you actually get? I don't think there's gonna be a ton, and people are not really opening those because they want to hold them. So we're not gonna open those to get this promo. So I'm pretty sure this promo is gonna get to like $100 at some point. And right now you can buy a few copies for like $40. So you're cutting your costs half basically. And this PSA 10 might continue to go up, maybe not. It just depends on like what the market wants, I guess, and what people want. But I feel like this is one that is like under $50 every day. You should pick this up, especially for the grading play. And even if you didn't want to grade, you can hold it and it'll probably go up, just because of the grading play as well, because people are going to want to buy it to grade it eventually. I mean, people are already doing it, but even more when it's harder to get, because that's when car prices usually rise. So let's move on to our third one. This one, I think this one I did a two in one because these ones are from the same set. Uh, this one's is funny because like I actually did great a Squirtle and a PSA 10 last year, if I'm not mistaken, and I sold it. I mean, I sold it for really good money, but I think when I bought this copy at that time, it was probably like going for like 50, $60, I think. Now it's like 110 for the raw copy, and then the PSA 10. I mean, I'm pretty sure, let's see, 351, 282. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I sold around here because I know it was probably in October, September, October. So I sold it for over 300. I mean, it hasn't gone a ton, but I know I haven't been able to spot a card to like that. I'm like, oh, that one's really clean, and it's an illustration rare, so it shouldn't be that easy to grade. And I really love this card, to be honest with you too. Like I love Squirtle. I love the main starters, like the OG starters, and the fact that you also have him just like playing around with the PGs and seeing the PGs here. I feel like it's like you have two first generation Pokemon, and I am really like a fan of cards that have multiple Pokemon in it, and I guess that's why I like tag team cards too as well. But I wish I was collecting when tag team happened, but I guess that was a long time ago, and I was not into Pokemon back then, or I was playing the games, but I never knew or never um, found out that there were Pokemon cards at the time. But I would have definitely collected a bunch of those tag team cards. But this one, again, the grading play, you pay 110 for raw copy, you pay 80, let's say 190, let's call it 200. You spend 200 to send the grade it, and then 2.5 months to PSA, you already have double your money. So like that just makes sense. And Stellar Crown too. Haven't seen any packs, so I'm pretty sure this one has to be out of print too. But I would say do your research if you really want to know if it's out of print. But I just haven't seen packs at all from Stellar Crown. Um, Fun fact: earlier in the year, I remember seeing the Pokemon Center Stellar Crown ATVs at one. I think they were like a 100, 110. I even had one. I ended up selling mine. I don't know why I sold it. But now I think there's are like 260 or something. Maybe, I'm not really sure. Let's see. Stellar Crown PCP TV 175. So it's basically almost double your money by 150, 145. So I get, well, see, 200. So it's like, it looks like it's in like the high 170s for the most part. I mean, there's this one odd sell, but it's from Canada, so I wonder why it was cheaper. But like 170, and I was like, I wish I would have picked up more because that was a really good price. And the fun part about Stellar Crown is that it has the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur that go with the Charmander. That is really expensive in a Pokemon Center promo and in the regular one. I actually used to have the Charmander Pokemon Center promo in a 10. And I remember I bought it for like maybe 150, 200, and then I sold it for like 380 maybe, I think. So that was the worst mistake of my life because, or one of the worst, because now that card is going for like 3K, 4K, I don't even remember. Charmander, PC promo, PSA 10. And I was like buying these also PC promos for like $25 back then. I had at some point I had like seven, and now those Pokemon Center promos are like $500. See, 624. I think that's a regular one too, which is kind of crazy because I was ignoring all the regular ones, but these were like $5 cards, $3 cards at some point. Let's see, this one is the Pokemon Center exclusive one, and this one sold for 5.4, 5.5. So it's constantly at 5 grand, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, that was something I missed. And the other card also that I think is a buy, even if you don't grade it too, I think these cards are just like cool because they go all together. So it's kind of like something that you can collect as a set. And that's what people are drawn into sometimes, for most of the time, when you can do sets of something. Um, and this one also has a PG here, but now PG is the one messing around with the OG starter. And here's a cute PG too. And it has the plants on here too, all these plants. And it's just like it feels very like home, and like it's just nice. I love this card, and I love Bulbasaur too. First gen original starters. And then this one is like basically almost the same price as Squirtle, 113. Let's say you pay 80 for the grading. Let's call it even 200. You spend 200 for the card. And then once it comes back 2 months, I'm pretty sure it'll stay here at 352. So you'll be up like 150. I think that's pretty good, especially for a card that you like, if you really like this card. Because, I mean, at some point, since people are not really opening Stellar Crown or other sets that are already out of print, there's not going to be a lot of cards that are gradable. And right now, the good thing that we have is that there's all the people streaming, the ripping shippers that are just burning packs and ripping with everybody online. So then there's a lot of cards available out there that people are posting on eBay, or they're at the card shows, or on the Facebook groups, or OfferUp. Like, you can really find a lot of good copies just because there's a lot of it that people are ripping. But at some point, people are gonna start ripping, some of these sets. And Stellar Crown was never like super super popular. Like, I mean, these cards were like $60 if I'm not mistaken. T44. I mean, it was in the low 40s in September of 2024, which is kind of crazy to think that it's been almost 2 years since Stellar Crown. So yeah, this is definitely out of print at this point. So this card should be one of the ones that you should be picking up, especially if you like all the original starters. Then let's see, let's move on to the fifth one. The fifth one is, yeah, this is crazy. I was like thinking, I was like, why? I mean, I have pulled this card twice. I remember once before when we had 151, I was actually able to get a lot of 151 and rip a lot of 151. So this is one of the sets that it was fun for me and I really enjoyed. Like that one and Crown Senate. That one and Crown Senate are some of the best opening sets because you actually get some cool stuff. Obviously now they're super expensive, but that's also another thing that you should keep in mind when you're trying to invest or buy something to hold for the long term is sets that have a lot of hits that people like to rip are some of the sets that are also gonna go up in price regardless of how much of it is out there, because Pokemon can print a ton and people will still want to open those packs, those sets, because I mean they're just fun. Like they actually do reward you with some hits, and 151 has a lot of beautiful cards. And this one, at some point, obviously here in 2024 was in the low 30s, which is kind of crazy to think about it because this is an SIR of one of the most iconic Pokemon in the franchise. So this was easily the time to stack up on some of these, and look at the price now. And it's not even that crazy if you really think about it. It's just like, it's low 30, no, it's high 30s, so it's like in the 40s basically. So 40 to 115, yes, it's double the price and a little bit more, but it is not something like super crazy where you are like, oh, 2 years and everything went like 5-10x. No, it just like doubled and a little bit more. But like even here and at the end of October, it was already in the 60s, 60s and 70s, and it didn't really took off until like, see, even February you were able to get it in the 70s. And then in March, that's when it took off and it went to 146 to 130s, 120s, and now it's like settling at 115, which let's see 120, 115. To me that's crazy because the SIR art is beautiful and has texture. And and the textures looks really really great. I mean, in Japanese Pokemon cards, that's one of the main things and the things that make Japanese cards stand out. It's like their texture is just so beautiful, and when you're looking at it, it's just like it's just awesome. So if you haven't explored Japanese Pokemon cards, I really encourage you to, because they're also a lot cheaper and the quality is even better than the English ones. The English quality is not the best, but this card, chef's kiss. This one, just the texture is beautiful, and it's just a very very beautiful card. This one for me is like art in a Pokemon card. Like, that's just crazy. Like, all of these flowers around Venusaur is just really iconic. So for me, this one is like, it's a no-brainer. It's a timeless Pokemon. All the generations know the OG starters for the most part, unless you're like a little kid, and that's different story. But for the most part, everybody knows Venusaur. And this one's 115 again. Let's say you pay $80. Let's just round it up for 200 again. 2.5 months, you can have a $475 card. So you're doubling your value basically of your collection just right away like that. See, this one, even like at some point in PSA 10s, it was like going up, like here at 300, then it would go like down, up, down. Then here it even got to like the 600s. So like, we're actually getting like a decent deal. And you hear my dog barking, she's just going crazy. She probably heard someone outside walking by. But anyways, this car got up to like $600 in a PC10. Right now it's $475, so it's still cheaper. It's like what, $115 cheaper? No, $25, $125 cheaper. So it's like, I don't think it's too bad, because even like the PSA9 price 130, I think that's also fairly cheap for the car, because if you buy this card and grade it, you're already like almost at $200, and you can get a PSA9 for 130. You're essentially just saving yourself the grading fee. So I mean, that is kind of crazy, because like, obviously the PSA9, it's a little bit more expensive than raw, but it's not really by like a ton of money. So yeah, this is another good one. Like, this one, you buy this one, it's just like, even if you don't have it in a 10, that card is just beautiful. Like, everybody appreciates it. If you see it in someone's like collection, that's just fire. Let's look at, what was the next one? Where did I open? Oh yeah, this one's crazy. For me, this one's one of the craziest ones that I found, because to me at this point, this card should have been a lot more, or at least I thought that was gonna happen. But this one also, funny story, I also had it. I had gotten one raw and graded it, but I sold it because I was just mostly like selling everything. But here, where is it? 25, 420. What did I sell mine as? I know mine was probably in the 350s, if I'm not mistaken. So like somewhere, probably was selling here before the pump, which is crazy. This one got up to what, almost 500. Yeah, it got up to 500. So right now it's at 457. So it hasn't even gone that much down if you really look at the graph. But the price of the raw copy, and here, I mean, obviously 105. So it's gonna be in the low 100s basically. But you're spending $100 for, again, 3 iconic Pokemon, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, just flying over like basically this field of grass, and like you can see all the clouds and everything. It's really really detailed. In person, this card is just beautiful. The texture also amazing. The texture on this one's crazy. This one, I need to find a raw copy to grade in a 10 so I can keep one. If for some reason I just keep missing out and not hitting a 10 after a couple tries, then I'll just do a 9. But this card, beautiful card. There's just like a lot of things to say about this card, but yeah, this is one of my favorite cards for sure. And I think these are just 3 iconic legendary Pokemon that everybody should have. So This one's just pretty dope. Let's see this other one. This one is also the same thing. And like this one, to be super honest with you, like I actually didn't really like this card in the beginning, when it first came out. Um, until like my wife like started telling me more things about this card, or like how it's cool that this guy just looks like he's just like chilling, like submerging although, but it's just like very dark. It's like he's just sinking in. Um, and then if you look at the details here too, it looks like it's just like a cave or something, just underwater. And then all the bubbles too are crazy. And he just looks like a menace. He looks like a monster. And he's also an iconic starter evolution. So it's like, come on, man. For 144, it's not crazy because when it first was coming out, I mean, he was selling in the 50s, 50s, 70s. I remember seeing it this cheap, but this was just like, I think, an anomaly because it shouldn't be in this cheap. And then it got to 60s, 60s, and then here 80s. It was always in the 80s for the most part for like a whole year. So from going from the 80s to 144, what? It's like $64 more. So it's like, yes, it has gone up a ton, but it's also not like outrageous where you're like, "Ah, if I get into this one, I might lose a lot of money." It's not one of those things. I mean, obviously it can happen. So like take your risks accordingly. Just risk what you want to risk. But for me, this I like to take risks that make sense to me, that are like, I don't want to say safe, but that are a good deal. Like I don't usually just go out and buy a car just because I like it that much. Like I'm like, yes, I like this car that much. Let me do some research. Let me look up like what the price has been, what it gets into value if it goes into a 10. And usually, I try to find cars that I think the art is cool and that I can grade, obviously. So this one from 80 went to 182, lost almost $40 right now. So it's like you can buy one of these ones raw, pay the $80. So let's say you're in it like 230. Let's call it 240, even 250 you want. You can double your money easily. You're already at 593 in PSA 10s. And like the highest for this one, also they were sales around 800 at some point. So it's like you are buying raw cards that have great art, that are out of print, and the products are super expensive, so no one's opening them, and you are grading it into like double your money for sure if you get a PSA 10. And if it does, it still could potentially even go up more since the ceiling was 800 last time. So it's like you still have a little bit of room. And sometimes how it works with these things too, and it can be the reverse as well. You can send a card to PSA right now, and like in 2.5 months, the market has shifted. So then your card is worth more. So those are like the perfect scenarios, and this has that potential as well as the other cards that I was talking about. Obviously, you also have the potential of the other way around, where it's like using your card, and by the time it comes back, it goes down in price. That has actually happened to me. It happened to me with the gold Giratina. I remember when I had pulled it, because I actually pulled it twice. Yeah, Crown Cine, one of the best sets to open, super fun. When I basically got it graded at 10, by the time it came back from PSA, because I sent it in, I think it was the cheapest value, but it was, Crown Cine was the first set that got me into Pokemon, basically. I had purchased what is it, not Phantasm of Flames, there's this set in Sword and Shield era that is Charizard. Um, it had this like pink Charizard promo, pink and orange, and the shades was the shiny Charizard. What's the name of that set? Champion's Path. Nice. I'm glad I remember. Once I did buy an ETV with my brother a long time ago because I was home and I was visiting, but I didn't really know much about Pokemon cards at the time. I knew they existed and everything because growing up watching the show and then just knowing cousins that had cards. but in TV we didn't get anything, and then I didn't really get into cards anymore. Until Crown Cine came out, then I started getting into Pokemon, and I pulled the Gold Giratina, sent to get graded, came back. By the time it came back, I had already lost like $200 from like 500 in a PSA 10 to like three something. So, anyways, I mean, I still made money, but it was kind of like crazy. That one also a beautiful card. I haven't really looked at counts in it to see if there's anything worth picking up, but that one's a beautiful card too. And it was my first big hit that I ever pulled, so maybe I should chase one of those in a 10. I don't know, might be fun. But anyways, this one is just like one of those that you have to get. It's just Blastoise, man. Blastoise is cool. Let's see, Destined Rivals. It's funny because like when Destined Rivals came out, I wasn't really a fan of it because I expected a lot more. I wanted Jesse and James, and I don't know, I expected a lot more of the set. And I think my expectations just were too high that I basically didn't like the set because of it. But this card right here, and like, and I have the proof to tell you about this because I'm doing it too. Where is it? This is one of the cards that you should be buying for sure. I'm just going through my cards trying to find that card. Where did I put it? I don't know, I have it somewhere, but I cannot find it. But anyways, this card, I have one off too. If you look at the bottom right corner. Yeah, I have one in a PSA 10, and I also bought a raw copy. I bought it in a PSA 10 because I was able to get one for 200. Right now it's 195, which also I think it's a play to buy it in a PSA 10 already. Oh yeah, that was raw copy. I sent it to get graded with some other things. So right now you're paying $80 for the grading plus basically $70. So you're at 170. So you're really close of the PSA 10 right now that it doesn't make sense why you shouldn't buy this car in a PSA 10 unless this car is really gonna just go back down raw. And I mean, for me, I mean, Destined Rivals is really hard to get. The prices are expensive as hell on Destined Rivals, and this car is only $67. Is it really gonna go back to 50? I don't think so. I'll be, let's see, it started with 110, and right now for some reason the market just, yeah, no, but look, this PSA 10 was 564. It was 600, 400, then went back to 240 something, little bump to 300, and it's just been going down, which is for me is like crazy. Actually, this is super crazy because the art is beautiful. You got Crobat, you have Subat too on it, like all the basically all the evolutions here. And there's just so many of them. You can still see the Team Rocket member, which is the part that I really don't like, is I really don't know who the trainer is, to be honest, who the Team Rocket member is. So I guess that's what bothers me, but I guess at the same time, it's a Team Rocket set, so they're gonna put any random Team Rocket person, or maybe, I mean, if you know who this is, let me know. But this card also has texture, and I just love texture. So this one for me, $67. I think that's super illustration rare. That's why it has texture. So for me, this card is just like, you have to pick it up. If you don't pick this up, it's like, what are you doing at this point, you know? Like, this is just like a no-brainer. 67 plus 80, so that's like what? 70 plus 80, was it like 150? 150, and then you see 150, you can spend an extra $50 and get the PSA 10 already. That's crazy. And like, if you want to even haggle, you can probably offer 180, and I'm pretty sure a vendor would take 180 for a 200 card. So that one is no brainer. Talk to me in a year or two and you'll see if we're still here, which, I mean, I doubt it. But let's see, this one's crazy because we're getting into Journey Together. It's like Journey Together has some good cards. This one also, I did great before. I think when I bought it like at 70, and then I sold it for like, was it like 300 maybe or something like that, 350. So like, this one was always an expensive card too, and it just kept going down and down and down, and like 365, and it's also like coming down again. but like it's no longer in the low 200s, which I think this was the best time to buy. Of course, looking back, we can always say that. But it's good to know this. And this for me is kind of like what we were talking about with the Crobat. The Crobat is at a point where like the PSA 10 price of the card, when you compare it to the raw card plus the grading fee, is really really close to the PSA 10. That it makes sense to spend the extra $50 to just secure the 10 and not have to send it to get graded, because you still have to get a 10. It is somewhat easy with PSA to get a 10, technically speaking, and I think people throw that easy part around like too often. But I mean, you still have to know what you're doing. So if you don't know how to grade, that's a tough one. But I'll also make a video on how to basically pre-grade cards before sending to PSA, because that's something that I feel like I can share with you guys and what has worked for me. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll make a video for that, so that way you guys like can learn too on how to spot cards that are gradable. So this one at this point was like the Crobat, but right now it's not. Now it's the opposite, where the margin for value and profit is like high. So you should definitely pick this up if you can find it. And it's a beautiful card. It's an iconic Pokemon too. I always like Salamence. It's pretty dope. And also it's a secret illustration rare, so texture looks beautiful in person. And not a lot of people like Journey together, so that's why the price is like this. Let's see, we have our last card. Let me tell you, I should have brought some water because I'm like losing my voice. But this is the last card. So you're still here. Elias Clefairy. This one I actually did buy one and I sold it because when I got home and I saw it, there was something that I really didn't like on like the corner of the card. They was like looked like a tiny little piece of whitening, but it just didn't look as good as something I usually send. Even though sometimes I feel like that might be hurting me because I'm being too strict with what I'm sending, but you're paying a lot of money for grading, so you want to be spot on. This one, $110, and the PSA 10 is $442. So you pay basically $200 to double your money again. Secret illustration rare, has texture, it's an iconic trainer. Everybody loves Clefairy as well, and it's just like a beautiful card. You have the flowers too, the background, the sun even coming in here. It's just like it's a cute, cool card. And it's just like you can double your money on this one. It's just beautiful in person. I think this one looks better here on this picture, but yeah, anyway, so this was the video of 10 Pokemon cards that you can purchase raw so you can grade. And even some of these, like we just went over it, you can probably purchase already the PSA 10, and that's already a good play, like the Crobat EX. I'm trying to remember if there was any other one. I think it was just the Crobat, but anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. And I'm planning to make a video on like grading, so that way I can share some of the tips and tricks that work for me. And it will be exclusively for Pokemon, and then I'll do one maybe just in general with cards. Or I can maybe go over both. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.